Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got ourselves a big grand finals. It's the KSR, Kalaris, Steadfast, and Rotterdam Cup that has, of course, replaced the EU Weekly Cup during the off-season. MAXPAX in the bottom left side of the map. CLEM in the top right. And I am excited because we're on the latest version of the patch. The Cyclone has changed. What the heck is going to go on? I don't know who's favored. I don't know. CLEM normally is the favorite in every scenario, but actually, you know what? I was going to say that, well, we've got to see what MAXPAX can do with the new energy ability now that he's been playing on this patch for a few different tournaments. Problem, we haven't really seen him use it much, have we? We have not seen MAXPAX change his opening build orders at all, and we haven't really seen him use the energy ability unless he happened to have an Oracle out for a different reason, say in PvP. Then he'll use the energy ability, start spamming stasis traps. He might use it to refill a sentry and force field if he happens to already have a sentry. But I haven't seen any Storm play, and I think Storm play is so much better and benefits a lot of it, as well as Oracle openings. And that being said, I mean, he obviously gave CLEM a lot of trouble last week because of the map design. The fact that the 4-gate blink can blink in, and it's just so far away. This map's not as bad, ley lines. Some of the other maps, though, do have issues where units can blink in, and it's hard for the Terran to cover everywhere. Good blocking here. You can see CLEM's at 400 minerals, but unable to put that command center down. And MAXPAX has successfully delayed it by a good 6 or 7 seconds. Maybe not quite 6, but let's say 5 seconds. Reaper expands, so very straight up opening for CLEM. And this was a Cybercore into Nexus. Second pylon, second gas, no doubt an Adept will get chronoed across the map. Now, big change, that Adept should be able to stay on the other side of the map for longer now. Right, there's no Cyclone getting out as easily. If CLEM wants to go a Cyclone, he's got to build a tech lab, which is a big commitment. So, I can't wait to see, you know, does it feel like MAXPAX just gets more information because of the lack of those Cyclone openings? I mean, we know he's not really likely to press forward with Stargate openings, but who knows, if he does go Phoenix at some point, actually, we know that Phoenix openings are very, very good now. Getting a few extra lifts is massive. Often Phoenix, big weakness, is just getting overwhelmed by numbers, right? Early game, you just don't have enough different lifts available on those Phoenix to really handle everything. Stalker should be coming out. Oh, it's actually a second Adept. There we go. All right, Reaper does get deflected for now. MAXPAX will transfer workers momentarily. You can see he changes the rally point, grabs 2 workers off the minerals, pulls them over. And the Adept arriving here. Can he get that SCV before it's done? Yes, he can. That is a great start for MAXPAX, but he's already lost his shield, so he's going to back away there. Tries to shade out. Will get himself a Marine, but I think that's a dead Adept. Indeed it is. An SCV and a Marine, though. Good trade for a single Adept. CLEM's Reapers, dude. So much lost mining time. And MAXPAX natural is not getting mining that quickly to begin with. This is the kind of interesting thing with modern TvP is you've got Cybercore first rather than Nexus before core. And even with that, you've still got Reapers finding probe kills. You've still got units getting in trouble all the time. Stalker on the high ground. Goodbye, Mr. Reaper. Very nicely played. Hellion coming in for CLEM, but it looks like he just wants to use this to scout for a fast third base. He realizes that if he sends it in right now, what's it going to see? Well, it's MAXPAX, so it's going to see a Twilight Council. We all know this. Second and third gateway and a Robo go down as well. It's going to be 3-gate blink next up. Raven into second barracks. An interesting building placement. So it looks like CLEM, traumatized by those 4-gate blinks, is saying, let's try and have our wall off closer. So if you blink in and you have a tank, say, here, maybe there would be perfect. A little further back from the wall. They can't really all reach it, right? And they're kind of butting up against the buildings, unable to get on top. You can actually cause quite a bit of damage. Adept shades into the base. Was not expecting to find an extra value discount deal on that SCV, but grabbing it, if you get another one, that would be very annoying. But the Adept is, of course, going to prioritize surviving for now. Now, third barracks comes in as well. This is very standard TvP, right? As classic and traditional as it gets. Make a Raven, make a tank, put the second barracks on the tech lab. If you want to make a second tank, you can delay this, but otherwise you can put this barracks on that tech lab as well. Looks like he is building another tank. Hellion pushed back by the Stalkers, and of course, looking for that third Nexus at 4 minutes 40. Oh, good scout. Yeah, Clem's been really good about that. Now that tells you, even though you could get hit by blink, it's not going to be the fiercest blink timing, is it? So he was a bit supply blocked. That second tank very late, but he should be okay. Double bunkers still. Wow, very safe. Man's being traumatized by 4-gate blink, but a bit of pressure coming out for him. Raven comes in, grabs a probe. Good pull away for MAXPAX though. And he'll send those straight back to mining in a moment. Adept Shades into the main base. The tank actually taking a fair amount of damage, funnily enough. The SCV is going to repair through that. And the second... Oh! The third barracks actually is going to wait. He's building a third siege tank. Super respectful of MAXPAX blink pressure. Clem realizes just how scary it can be. MAXPAX, the king of the stalkers. He's going to blink past the bunker. Already loses one stalker. Good hot pickups on the remaining ones, but Clem with the focus fire does get a second stalker. And oh, a messed up blink. That means 3 stalkers. That's a bad start for MAXPAX, guys. Now, he does have a faster third than normal. This is not a 4-gate blink. Keep that in mind, but so far I'd be pretty happy with this as Clem. On the other hand, no third command center started. Only now getting his barracks swapped over and starting the reactor for the factory. Medevacs have not started producing yet. Combat shields neither. And +1 weapons only now beginning. So, yeah, you haven't taken much damage. He's lost a few stalkers. You're not too scared. On the other hand, your own build-up doesn't feel great. Selling this bunker to start a faster third command center, a viable choice right now, but I think Clem just doesn't want to leave any openings. No chances for MAXPAX to get free damage. Even here, right, pulling his Marines and Marauders back, he's like, well, I don't want to lose the depot, but I also don't want to throw these Marines away. And he knows MAXPAX would try to focus fire those Marines, so ends up losing a supply depot. Auto turret comes in yet again. Not many probes, honestly. 4 kills on total, in total on the Raven. And that's, I think, across 3 auto turrets. 8-gate charge and +1 coming in. MAXPAX supply looks pretty bad. I have to be honest with you guys, this does not feel good for MAXPAX at all. He's got 8 stalkers, 2 sentries, 2 zealots. And whilst he's getting to charge, the Robobay has only just begun. I don't know if he's going to have a Colossus out before those first medevacs and bio arrive. First medevacs are out, stims done, shields +1 and concussive are all almost done. It's time to move out here for Clem. Trades out 2 Marines, or was that only 1 actually? It might have only been 1. Ooh, Warp Prism with Zealots already ready to go. He might have been hoping to get in here before a Warp Prism could have arrived, but I think Clem should realize against MAXPAX should realize. Clem should realize against MAXPAX. This is always going to be the thing there, man. Look at me tripping over my words. Zealots grabbing a Marine in the main mineral line. Bio coming forward. Stalkers being a nuisance. Nice stim forward. 2 more Stalkers do go down. Prism saves one of the Zealots back at home. MAXPAX has bought himself a fair bit of time with the Stalkers, with the Prism. But that Colossus I was talking about, definitely not ready. Robobay's only just finished. He's going to hallucinate an Archon to try and help him out here. These tanks in the open. Good pullbacks for Clem. Oh, he's going to put his tanks over on the ledge. Yeah. Just behind this little bit of terrain. Hard to get at those siege tanks. Zealot flank, though, is already set up. And that's going to make it much more possible. Look at this. Clem's going to pull back. Clem says, you know what? You're heavy Zealot. I don't want to give you a chance to find my siege tanks. Widowmines do find a few decent hits there, getting a Stalker and a Zealot, I believe. Prism drop in the main base. But look at that. Widowmine plus Viking shuts it down. And Clem's third command center is done, guys. That is right. He has got a third command center floating out. He is on 4 barracks with a 5th one about to finish. And he's trading a good 1,000 resources more efficiently. MAXPAX, what's he got going for him? Second Colossus, extended thermal lance. He does have +1 weapons. So he's not too far behind in the upgrades. Normally I'd say make +1 armor, but it looks like, oh, MAXPAX chronoed without having the gas or the minerals perhaps, as he does actually have a fair bit of gas bank. 4th base gets cancelled. MAXPAX is on the ropes right now, and it feels like yet another game where Clem has just been trading so very well. But MAXPAX, slick move, snipes the Raven. He does charge forward. I was not expecting him to engage into this. Widowmine does get a decent hit. 3 or 4 Zealots get hit by the splash. Another great Widowmine there. Good hot pickup on the siege tanks. Dude, just stutter stepping, not sieging up. Beautiful play by Clem. A lot of players, myself included, would have instantly sieged the tanks when the fight started. But Clem, realizing he did not want to stand and fight against such a heavy Zealot. I mean, now he does siege up. Is it a mistake? The Immortal's right on top of him. Whilst a lot of Stalkers go down, the sieging up may have been a mistake. This is a good fight for MAXPAX. I look at the supply and I understand there's someone going, good fight for MAXPAX. What are you talking about? Yes, he's still down 1,200 resources. The unit's lost. I agree. The position is not good, but that was a good fight. He kept his sentries. He's immortal. His Colossus alive. What did he lose? He's lost a lot of Stalkers, but most of those had gone down before that final fight. So we got to realize, yeah, it's a hard position. It's a bad position for MAXPAX, but he got the fight he needed to keep himself in this game. He's still down 5 workers. He's still in a very rough position, though. Clem building a 4th command center, 2nd engineering bay, armory, Ghost Academy. Sorry, I could just already hear the comment of like the one guy who's actually offended that he's like, you think that's what I sound like? Like, it's a straw man accent. It's fine, guys. It's fine. It's imaginary criticism. It's all good. I'm sure you definitely don't sound that stupid. You sound dumber. No. Much love for everyone hanging out, by the way. I know that a lot of my casts recently have been a bit more casual. Also, a few slipped in there with quite a bit of the non-PG-13 stuff, you know? It's a bit rare. It's just been hard to find content on the new patch. But now that we've got more tournaments running each week, shouldn't be as much of that back to the normally scheduled stuff. I know some of you had fun with it. You enjoyed the banter and the silly comments and stuff, but I know other people were upset either by the... I mean, whether people are upset or not, the swearing is just... That's just a compromise I've made because all my real-life friends... at a certain point, they were like, man, I can't watch any of your videos anymore because I always watch when I'm cooking or taking, you know, my daughter's around, my sons are, you know, it's always like their kids are all like learning how to speak and they're like, I can't have them repeating the things you say at school. And I'm like, fair call, fair call. Anyways, enough of a tangent. Let's talk about the game. Clem slowed down. He's not trying to win. Oh, did he just get, he got a medevac before, then he gets a ghost. You know, not bad if you count the previous skirmish where he got the medevac as well. A ghost and a medevac for 2 stalkers is fine. It was a very good recall save. If he didn't blink and recall, the bio on the left flank could have sandwiched him and he would have been in big troubles. Now, disruptors aren't out. It's still single robo. Second forge only now starting armor. Dark Shrine coming in. Second robo's finally starting. And MAXPAX has good map control, but I always look at this situation, I'm like, man, where are the disruptors? For me, I really feel like the disruptors are huge. Now, keep in mind, guys, I actually think the radius nerf to the disruptor is one of the biggest nerfs we've ever seen. It's something we didn't really factor in at the time how big it was, in my opinion. But in this matchup, especially when you're watching the best Terran in the world, I've noticed that him and other Terrans at the top are getting hit much more by disruptors since the radius has been reverted to its old radius. And I think it's much healthier for the unit. The unit doesn't one-shot a Marauder, though. I feel like there's a lot of situations where the Disruptor is worse, but I think when it's up against Clem, it seems to be better specifically in this one position against this guy because he's so good at dodging, and now finally he's not quite able to dodge the shots completely. But look at that, man. Colossus goes down. Vikings are here, and I think this is just perfect from Clem. He gets rid of 2 Colossus. The Vikings slide away. I know I bring it up a lot, but ever since they made those Vikings more microable, Clem has felt like an absolute beast with them in this matchup. Now, the gateway units on the ground are hanging on okay. The problem is MAXPAX is just, he's been behind, he's been on the back foot for a while, he's been surviving. Oh, Dark Templar. Maybe Dark Templars can come in and just like distract Clem enough, and then if he lands like one good disruptor shot, oh, Clem's not watching. And that is the rare case where we see the new disruptor shot in action. Killed a ghost, did a ton of damage to 5 Marauders, but it did not kill those 5 Marauders, and they are healing over time. And you can see in that scenario, way worse for the Disruptor, right? Way worse. Now, I think people could argue, well, if you're not watching, one Disruptor shot isn't gaming anymore. It's better design-wise to have a less brutal but more reliable Disruptor. And actually, Printf had a cool idea for that, which I'll share with you guys at some point. Dark Templar's in the natural. MAXPAX buying himself time. MAXPAX has double Robo Disruptor. He's not pumping Disruptors, though, and I think that's the big mistake he's making. Like, he's adding gateways. You've got a second Robo. You know, use it. Okay, he's making a Prism. Prisms are good, but I think Disruptors are everything right now. He's only got 1 Colossus. There's enough Vikings to get rid of it. Essentially, he has a few Zealots, a few Stalkers. Another Disruptor shot, and it lands again. Oh, good Disruptor shots coming out, landing on these Marauders. Zealot, Stalker trying to fight. Another Disruptor shot goes out, but it doesn't land. He's got to get out of here. MAXPAX has to get out of here. I think he has to turn and fight for a moment. Otherwise, his Disruptors are going to be out in the open. Maybe save one. And he does save one of those very heavily damaged. Oh, flanking Disruptor from the north. Flanking Disruptor from the north, but he's not watching. Neither side was watching. And it does go down to Clem. Doesn't even target it. His units just attack moved and took it out. The Colossus is going to get 2 shot there. It's not going to stand a chance. Disruptor in the front line. That's a problem. Clem sees it. He pounces. He takes it out. Vikings landing as well. Zealots come forward. EMP is landing across that front line. MAXPAX, he should have been chronoing those Disruptors 2 at a time. He was on 4 bases. 5 bases even. 76 workers. He actually had pushed this to a point in the game. His Dark Templar are doing good damage. But I feel like with all the advantages Clem had, MAXPAX needed to double down on those Disruptors. Nonetheless, it was a pretty good game. I feel like after losing 3 Stalkers on his initial blink into the double bunker, that's usually such a bad start, but he fought very well from there, defended the Raven. He just doesn't have the numbers here. I mean, you might wonder, why was I commentating that fight like it was already over? I could see the production tab. If you don't have any splash damage, you got 1 Disruptor's not going to land a hit. That Disruptor, he should have changed the rally point to the back of the Robo. That should not have popped out in the front. Maybe that keeps him alive a little longer. But when you're already down 4,000 or 5,000 in the units lost, Clem's got a 5th base up behind this as well. The chances are incredibly slim. GG, well played. Clem takes game 1. Alright guys, MAXPAX had a bad start to that last game. I do think if he double chronoed his Disruptors a little bit more, he might have been able to hold on a bit longer. But against Clem, when you're that far behind, I mean, I actually feel like if Clem split up at all, he was going to have easy pickings either way. Like if he started hitting multiple areas, I don't think MAXPAX had the numbers to keep up with that. It's kind of cool though, Snowpiercer here. I think the sad thing about, even though it's cool to be seeing us playing on the PTR, the Cyclones not having the full lock-on range, it makes me a little sad because like certain super weird Cyclone cheeses as well as like battle mech openings won't be as viable. Especially in like TvT, right? The Cyclone massively nerfed for its early game TvT utility as well as heavy Cyclone mech. TvT not really viable on this PTR until they fix that Cyclone change, which hopefully comes through soon. Give it its proper leash range so it's not constantly breaking. Now that's an interesting one, guys. What do you think of this factory placement? Like, what does this tell you? Because I'm honestly confused. Why would you put your factory there? Oh, he actually wants to build his whole row of production here and put the siege tank here, so it's instantly shooting on the stalkers when they blink in the base. Wow, so he's basically so fed up because there's so much room in this main base to cover. He's decided, I'll have a bunker and tank guard my natural, and then I'm going to just put tank and bio in my main, and I'm just going to basically be split between two very far. This is the... Normally players will try to anchor their defense. They'll go like tank here, bunker here, and then they'll have another tank here, and then another tank here. But then like the stalkers can just kind of go around the edges picking off SCVs and gases. Whereas Clem is actually of the mindset of, no, I want to try and build the wall off over here to set up that little bit of safety for the tank. And you got to realize as well, the tank is much safer because the moment you blink up, you're already getting shot. So it makes it very scary to blink in there. Yeah, this is cool. So this is no doubt Clem adjusting after MAXPAX schooled him. Was it in this cup last week? I think it was this cup last week where he absolutely destroyed him, right? It was a very, very quick 3-0. Alien Reaper going well. Apparently these two played earlier today in the Wardy Cup as well. Not unusual at all. I imagine Wardy did it on the PTR as well, right, Eon Blue? And was that also the finals? Was that a best of 5 as well? I haven't looked at the results yet. I've just got up nice and early, seen that the finals were still going, so we are casting this one live, even if you're watching it after the fact. Oh! Gonna rotate some SCVs on and off. You're hot and you're cold. There we go, very well done. Hot, hot, hot. Phoenix on the way for MAXPAX. Now, Phoenix are fantastic now because you can give them extra lifts from the start. And I do think it's worth, with this next 50 energy, giving that Phoenix 2 extra lifts. Either this one or your second one that comes out. And the reason is having extra lifts is amazing and you're going to find value with it almost always, right? So we'll see. Yeah, you see, he just remembered. MAXPAX. MAXPAX is... It's so funny watching how fluid even Clem is with his energy usage with that ability, because he's played so much of the patch, whereas MAXPAX is just mostly playing standard builds and he's slowly starting to, with his perfect standard play, layer in these other little details like using that energy ability. Definitely no Estrella when it comes to using it, but my god, are his basics good. Medevac drop's going to come in, Phoenix are out of position. This is not a problem, I think, for MAXPAX, as long as you don't present too many kills. Like those probes being stacked is not ideal, but he spreads at the last second. Does take a little splashy there. One of the Phoenix taking just 5 hit points of damage, no big deal. Hellion pokes in, not going to be able to find the probes. A little bit of mining time, but for what cost? You've lost Reapers, Widow Mines, and a Marine. And the Phoenix Colossus play is well underway. So very solid play here. The Medevac's going to hide in the corner of the map for now. Unlikely MAXPAX will be able to find that. And there's a Cyclone and a Viking with a second Cyclone building. Remember that lock-on will break at 9 range. It's meant to have 14 leash range. Also, once it's locked on, it's not meant to break until 14 range, which normally you never have 14 vision on a unit. But there we go. Has to use the Phoenix pickup to disable that pickup. And Clem, I would say he's had a much worse start. Now, the main reason is because he's committed to so many units. His stims just started. So it's going to be a little while until he's got his 3 racks kind of bio, marine, marauder, medevac pressure going across the map. On the other hand, he skipped tanks, right? Because he knows he's playing against Phoenix. He doesn't have to worry about tanks to defend Blink Stalkers. So he's not in the worst position. Phoenix going to find some pickoffs, and that's huge. That's big. I would have gone for those Marines as well, personally. Phoenix destroy Marines in similar numbers. There we go. Yeah, I just grabbed a couple Marines. I don't think he needed to drop that. He could have killed that as well, but MAXPAX is playing exceptionally cautiously right now. He's got a sentry and a few gateway units, not too many. Trying to build a couple of shield batteries. Observer set up over the production. Single Hellion's going to drive into the main base. Could use the Phoenix to disable it, but that means nothing's here to help defend. Force Field's going to buy time at the third base. Let's see how he goes. Stalkers and a sentry trying to defend. Hellion gets unloaded. Second Phoenix Lift to take care of that. But of course, Phoenix Lift's not as valuable. Now that you've got that energy ability, you can afford to use those a bit more willy-nilly. Still one of the greatest sayings of all time, by the way. Willy-nilly. I'd love to hear the original backstory. The first guy who said willy-nilly and was like, yeah, that's a saying. I sometimes do feel bad for our non-native English speakers in the audience who are like, what are you talking about sometimes? But, you know, it's fun. You guys get to learn some interesting... Oh my god, 2 medevacs! I mean, the one was already great value, guys. Getting 2 medevacs. CLEM right now is in a painful place, and it does smell a little Gucci. Phoenix going to be flying away. Extended Thermal Lance is on the way. Twilight Council and the Forge, which will, of course, begin his charge transition. Now, you might be thinking, why charge? Why not blink first? He's already got Phoenix to control the skies. He has no need for blink until after the Phoenix, whereas Zealots are going to add some oomph to your army. They're really going to help you out. Phoenix does take a fair bit of damage. The healing for CLEM is non-existent, and I don't think MAXPAX should be afraid. He should be going straight across the map and ripping the economy apart. Oh, Adept goes in, gets the SCV, putting the third. That is so annoying. CLEM quickly picks up Boost over with his medevacs to try and rebuild it. He's got an SCV over there. He will get rid of the Adept, but I think these Phoenix can just keep doing damage because you're more than safe at home. Are you, though? I say that. There's no mobile units, right? It's 2 gateways. But there's only like 2 Colossus and a few Zealots. Picks up the Widow Mines. Oh, the value. Getting Widow Mines like crazy. 4 Widow Mine kills and SCVs. He can pick up a few more SCVs before he goes away. Only loses 1 Phoenix. MAXPAX is all over it. And CLEM reeling right now in this game. That Observer's still watching him as well. So MAXPAX has got this full vision over his base, whereas CLEM... I mean, his supply is so close that, like, part of me is like, he could actually bring this back just doing one of these kind of BS, my name's CLEM. Like, this is one of those games you're like, well, how does CLEM come back from here? Well, basically, guys, he can stomp the ground, say, my name's CLEM, and then just micro his way to victory. And, oh no, what the? MAXPAX just left a Phoenix behind. I'm not sure what happened there. Because even if it was rallied to the other Phoenix, you'd think it would have just followed them, but somehow did not get added to the control group, I guess. Bit of a doo-doo. Prism on the north there. 4th base is on the way. Big bio army coming in towards the natural. Colossus in here, but honestly, the Colossus should go out and fight this. I think it's honestly time for MAXPAX to go push. He's got a Prism. He's got a ton of Zealots. He can make Archons as well. This Zealot run by, not the best trade, but does take out a Widow Mine, almost gets the second one. And if he can just go now, I think he's got it, because where is that Prism, guys? Here it is. Yeah, you morph Archons, you go Zealots. There's no way there's going to be enough EMPs. I'm amazed there's any Ghosts out by now, considering how much damage CLEM's taken. I'm amazed that CLEM's up in supply as well. And he has 7 Vikings, which is amazing against 3 Colossus for this time, but there is 6 Phoenix to help buffer. So the problem is, I think MAXPAX needs to YOLO this fight. I don't think he can do the in and out, because if he does a very kind of back and forth fight, the Vikings will actually get too much damage. He's got to just commit. MAXPAX absolutely knows it as well. He commits in right now. The Phoenix tanking so very well. Cyclone flank comes in. He needs another Zealot warp in. And MAXPAX, his Colossus is still alive. Looks like 3 Vikings went down, but almost all the Phoenix are gone. At this point, the Colossus out in the open. He's got to be careful with those Colossus. Using their range nicely, but you can see the Vikings doing damage. And there's no blink here. You just got a few Stalkers and Archons left on the ground. MAXPAX with very good in and out micro, but he's about to get punished. One of his Colossus will go down. SCVs are in the open. He trades a Colossus to get on top of those. Zealots are in the mineral line right now. The bio deep in the red and orange. And remember, they're going to have to stim again soon. Every stim is sacred right now. There is no healing left for those. The medevacs, there's only 2 of them. They don't have much energy. 1 Archon goes down. Another Archon's going to get popped, but what's left? A handful of bio. Only 1 Viking. The Stalkers, even without blink, have been focus firing that. And MAXPAX will tie up the series 1-1. All right, guys, going into Whispers of Gold. CLEM on the right side, MAXPAX on the left. This map has a wide spread. What do I mean by that, guys? Once you get out to like a 5th base here, you get a 5th base here, a 3rd base here, there's such a wide front. So your bases, as you get past 3, 4 bases, you get really, really exposed to drops. and multi-prong, and it becomes very hard for Protoss. So if there was ever a map to just swarm Zealot Phoenix on in these wide open areas and do some sort of all-in, this is it. MAXPAX, of course, always plays exactly the same standard style, pretty much, or not exactly, but very similar styles. This would be a good map to open up with like a 3-gate pressure as well. Remember, your main base is wide open to drops as well. Look at this, guys. They can boost in here into your main. So you've really got to kind of worry. Now, this is why some people have the philosophy of take your 3rd in front of the base and then your 4th down here. That way, by defending your 3rd and 4th, you're kind of blocking the opponent sneaking into your main base. Whereas for me, a more classic expansion pattern is kind of straight line. 3rd base there, 4th base there is what I like to expand with. Both Zerg and Protoss, I like to do that more. And that does expose me to my main base getting dropped super hard. So, you know, it's... do you want to put your bases in kind of very close to your opponent and easy for them to push on the front and protect your main? Or do you want to make it harder for them to push on the front but leave your main wide open to drops? We'll see which one MAXPAX opts for. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes Phoenix again here. As that will, of course, scare you. You don't really want to drop into 7-8 Phoenix, or you may lose a bunch of different things. On the other side, it is just a 1-Rex expand. Once again, he's going to go for the factory of this. This is CLEM's adjustment, guys, to the fact that these blink endpoints are very far away from the natural. And that seems to be just his standard adjustment to these maps that could completely change the results. And this is the thing, right? We're testing so many things. People are like, oh, so is it balanced? Is it imbalanced? What's going on? And obviously, like, sometimes it takes a year for us to actually realize something's appallingly broken in StarCraft. And that's, often we theory craft and we surmise, hey, this probably will not be good early on, but, you know, to actually have evidence for it often takes a very long time. Zealot pressure does come in. Great micro so far. Clem went for 2 Marines, so he should be able to defend that quite easily. He could just walk past the Zealot and get in the bunker if he wants to. He kind of got a bit jumbled with his micro here. He's got to fight with the SCVs now. Already, one of them goes down. Great micro. Adepts on top of the other Marine as well. Oh, you can't escape, bro. The Adept. Oh, look at that Marine. Whee! He just goes flying there. And this Adept getting some decent damage. Second Adept comes in, gets another Marine kill. Those are only SCVs hiding in the bunker. A Reaper on its own does not present a lot of damage. It's Clem, so he's going to keep microing it because the man is a absolutely unashamed tryhard who almost lost his Reaper for that. One hit, it was regenning right up until the projectile hit it, and he survived on 1 hit point. Dude, that's lucky. If he didn't keep that Reaper alive, these Adepts would have such an easy time dealing with the Hellion. But now with 2 Marines and that, it's going to be a different story. The Adepts take out 1 Marine, and they both shade to safety. They're like, I can survive on 1 hit point too. That's 2 1-hit point Adepts. We've already had a 1-hit point Reaper survive. Now we've had 2 1-hit point Adept survives. That's absolutely essential, that is. I don't know why I've started using essential as a word for awesome, exciting, close, clutch. I don't know. It's just fun, I guess. Stalker's going to take out that, but he does lose that Stalker. It gets smeared, and I think this is an overcommitment, honestly, for MAXPAX. Yeah, he can try to survive, but the SCV lands a hit, and those SCVs are actually going to drill that Adept. So, arguably, he could have kept those units alive. He only got a tiny bit more damage, and Clem was macroing pretty well during it. Most players would fall apart in the face of that pressure. I remember I was really proud the PVT I played against MAXPAX last time, where I defended that pressure without SCV scouting, and I don't think I lost any units. And I was like, I was so proud of myself. The difference is that I had to pull a ton of SCVs. A ton of SCVs, and I lost so much mining time. And he killed me with a 3-gate right after. And I was still so proud because just dealing with that Zealot pressure against an equally skilled player is so hard, man. I always say, like, if you don't scout it coming as a Terran, you've gone for just a single Marine bunker sort of opening. It's tough, but I like that Clem says, you know what, let's just build 2 Marines, make the build a bit safer. I feel like Cure was one of the first Terrans to start doing that as standard, and I think it really makes you just so much more safe in the matchup. Blinks forward so eagerly that he actually eats the splash damage, but of course it only removes the shield, so no big deal. There is a Hellion still blocking the 3rd base, and this is, of course, 4-gate blink. Let's see how Clem's wall-off holds up. He's got double bunker on the natural. Very good choice there. That tank's in a good position, but it doesn't have any support. So if he's brave enough, he could dive on it, but you can see now why this tank position is so good. And MAXPAX needs to realize blinking into the main is not the go. Against this, you can drop in the main, but you need to actually YOLO the natural, I think, probably. Yeah, it's or you can run up here and blink there and then dive on the tanks because all the Marines are in the natural, but tanks are not covering the natural. Let's see what he can do. He's going to blink forward. Mad dogging it. Nice hot pickups on the Stalkers with the Prism. Gets rid of a bunker and a Marine, but he's already lost 1 Stalker. That is a lot of Marines. Sorry, guys. Apparently, edge scrolling is still turned on. My apologies for that. This is looking pretty decent for Clem. Yeah, that's perfectly fine, guys. If you lose 11 Marines and 4 SCVs and a bunker, but you kill 5 Stalkers, you've taken away the critical mass of the Stalkers. There's still no third base building, and look at this. This is a disaster for MAXPAX. That one Bernie car is just going to absolutely ruin MAXPAX because he's just warped in on the other side of the map. He can't secure that base right now. He's floating over 1,000 minerals. And this wall off with 2 tanks there, you just can't be blinking. I mean, you could technically blink into that if you realize this whole area up the top is actually safe. Wait for blink to be ready and then blink across the gap. But I think MAXPAX right now is... Oh my god, he sent another probe and he lost it. He just sent another probe and he lost it. He does take out the tank. He gets rid of the Banshee, but he's taking big damage. Those tanks are both firing on him. He does get rid of the bunker. MAXPAX is looking pretty dead zones here. I mean, I like the choice to mix in a 4-gate blink, but he's going to have to adapt to the fact that Clem is pretty damn safe against this. He's obviously like, I know what you're going to do every game. I'm going to like triple down on my defense for it. And definitely feels like with the way MAXPAX is running into a brick wall that he's going to need to rethink his approach on 4-gate blink. And the early defense was not clean for MAXPAX. He lost a lot of mining time. He got fully scouted. The Hellion denied his third twice. I mean, pretty much everything went right for Clem this game. Everything went wrong for MAXPAX. And one has to realize if you blink there into tank range, you are incredibly committed. All right, guys. We're going to game 4. Clem just accidentally pressed the load button on his command center, loaded 5 SCVs, and then unloaded them. So he's kind of messed up his early mining a little bit, guys. That's a little bit unfortunate there. I've only seen in the last few months Clem and Beyond make that mistake. The spammy boys, the guys who like to smash their keyboard repeatedly very, very quickly. Clem in the bottom left of Hecate. We had to restart this game, guys, because they started it and then it was getting up to 300 ping. So we've gone to the EU server where the players have 0 ping. What's also great is Cyclone will have the full range here as well. I would love to see Clem basically go mass Cyclone here. It's really bad on this map because there's ramps everywhere that you'd have to be moving up, so the lock-on isn't even useful here. I just want to see it because fun. Is it good versus Protoss? Not particularly either. I mean, it's very good at low level and medium level because people just go, how do I beat this? Because most players don't have any contextual understanding of builds or that their opponents are doing at them, right? So people would just be like, hey, how come they get this unit that's fast and does so much damage and I can't even hit it? This is so unfair. Then you realize like, oh, I could have spotted it like when I saw the first few Cyclones and hard reacted. And, you know, with Zerg, it's fungal or surrounding. With Protoss, usually it's just surrounding the Cyclones, you know, charging in with Zealots and Stalkers with a flank. If you flank Cyclones, they get absolutely wrecked, but that's obviously not what we're going to be seeing in this game. Clem's going to stick to standard solid stuff. You can see on this map a bit more of a standard building position. He goes factory there. He can go starport here, add-ons as well. Tanks behind it, covers the whole ledge, and isn't as far from the natural. So unlike a couple of those newer maps where the 4-gate blink is a bit more fearsome, MAXPAX will be going for the Stargate. Big thank you, Chonky. Appreciate the gifted sub there, Chonky Blitzer. They did fix this bridge, of course, which I'm still kind of sad about because the original bridge kind of just looked like it fitted the aesthetic more, but because it had holes in it, it did look weird when you burrowed a Widow Mine on a hole in between 2 slats of wood that were kind of over a purple abyss. Reaper's looking for that kill. Can he get it? Get back here. I got words for you. But nope. Costs him. Double Adepts get the snipe. And I imagine it's just going to be Phoenix. Oh my gosh. What in the... MAXPAX is using an Oracle, guys. He's actually using an Oracle. He never does this. If he dives straight away, he can get in there before the Cyclone's out as well. Because remember, it's Tech Lab Cyclone. He might not even play Cyclone because Clem has no scouting. Clem has no idea what's happening in this game. And these Adepts will definitely continue. I would have gone for the Mule there, but he just goes for Marine, SCV. Does get Marine and an SCV, and that's super worth. Going to trade an Adept there, but that's okay. It was already the damaged one. This Adept will escape. First Oracle arriving in the near future. Notice he does not have energy used on that Oracle, but he can go back to fill up on it. Cyclone and Viking are on the way. Clem seems to know what's happening anyway because he's blindly playing for that, saying, you know what, you've gone multiple Adepts. It's probably that build. I feel like MAXPAX always goes 2 Adepts, even when he's playing Blink, though, so that you don't know exactly what he's doing. It's great damage, though. They did forget to host this on... oh, actually, no. Because we're on Europe, they can't host it on the Game Heart mod or anything. 8 SCVs have gone down, guys. 1 to the Adepts. I think 7 SCVs for an Oracle is worth it. It's expensive, but it is worth it. He's going to be going Blink afterwards. The problem is, of course, without the Oracle, it's hard to track the army. But as long as he just keeps warping in non-stop off of those 3 gateways, Chrono's Blink, maybe makes a battery out at the 3rd base, and it's all about defending the push, right? Cyclones, Vikings, Marines, a tank on the way behind it, as well as a medevac. Notice he's going to load up the tank, 2 Marines, into that medevac, boost across, and he's building more Marines. This tells you how committed Clem is. If this does not work out, Clem is dead zones. If he does not find big damage and hopefully kill the 3rd base, he's probably just dead. Probe sacrifice there to see the incoming push. Stalkers are in position, and they could shut this down very easily. Nice pullback on the Stalkers. Tank gets unloaded in the face of the Stalkers. It does get sieged up. Medevac goes down, though. And here we go. Probes are going to go forward. Not able to set off the Widow Mine. Oh, the tank splash! The tank splash on the probe. Actually, friendly fire killed the Widow Mine. That's what we just saw, guys. Also landed on the Marines. So at first, I thought that probe pool wasn't very good, but it actually worked out okay. Marines taking pretty big damage. That siege tank's very exposed. If he sent a few Stalkers around, I think he could shut this down, but MAXPAX... send those Stalkers around. If he flanks, he can either intercept the reinforcement or just go straight for that tank from the low ground. Either one will be way more effective. He's got to make that choice, though. The tank trying to unsiege, blinks forward, gets taken out. There are Marines coming through the bush there, but the Stalkers fighting very, very well. So low hit point Cyclone chasing him back. On this side, the Stalkers chasing him back. He's got another tank as a bit of a fallback point. Cyclone, very vulnerable. Nice blink back micro. MAXPAX is all over it. These 3 Stalkers can cut off reinforcements. The other ones can chase this down. He is absolutely not going to let Clem go home. Clem is on 2 base against 3, and his entire army is getting mauled. As I said, if he doesn't do big damage after that Oracle doing 8 workers in the early game, or 7 on top of the Adept damage, it's a disaster. Clem is going to stay in here for another minute, but honestly, I think these Stalkers could probably kill him. Well, actually, they can't blink into the base, so probably not, because there's no high ground vision. Does it matter, though? You got charge, you got +1 on the way. Your 3rd base is probing up. I'd love to see that 4th gas and Robo Bay, which should be the next thing he commits to. 4th base. Wow, nice early 4th base from MAXPAX. Should be seeing 4th gas and Robo Bay. This is his standard path. Robo Bay will go down any moment now. Has he got the sentry? Yeah, he always gets 1 sentry as well. It's 1 sentry, and he seems to be a bit happy to just commit to Mass Zealot this game, which is fair enough. He's got the Warp Prism chronoing. How often is he probing? It feels like non-stop. Yeah. This is like a perfect way of getting ahead. Just take 4th, add tech, get in position. That Robo Bay does now finally go down. Pylon spotters on the right side. And Clem, of course, he's made a 3rd command center. It's halfway done now. But he needs to have the most magical engagements of all time. Maybe sneak across with a drop, which MAXPAX is looking for on the right side with a Stalker. And MAXPAX is looking so clean. What was really important about this hold, for those who are wondering, is he went 2nd and 3rd gateway before 3rd Nexus. So he went Oracle, 2nd and 3rd gateway, 3rd Nexus, then Twilight Council. So even though he didn't have Blink initially, when the push started, he had it without too much delay afterwards. Oof, big tank shots, nice move. Double Drop was hoping to catch those Stalkers blinking out to the side. You know, hoping to flank this position. MAXPAX. Good blink back. Might lose a Stalker here if he's not careful, but no, uses the sight blocker nicely. Yeah, just keep blinking. Oh yeah, grab a Marine or 2, because Clem's not going to want to stim a 2nd time. Single Zealot coming in. Does go very well there. Oh my gosh, he's trying to pick up with his command center to save them. Guys, if you're juggling SCVs into command centers, you know that the game is getting messy. Widowmine's not quite firing there. Zealot's just tagging whatever SCVs they can. Very good focus fire by MAXPAX, grabbing a few of those extra SCV kills. You can see this has massively disrupted Clem. He's now put back on gas. He's got +1 attack. But of course, it's MAXPAX with his first Colossus. Extended Thermal Lance, +2 on attack on the way. 2nd Forge coming in. Do we have any observers? Not a single observer in this game, just focused on the Colossus production. He did build a Phoenix, which I guess is... He cancelled it. Okay, cancelled his Phoenix. Clem looking kind of desperate with this push, guys. We got Zealots on the left. We've also got a Warp Prism back in the natural again. Great force fields as the Zealots hit his base. MAXPAX ambushes. MAXPAX disengages. Looks like the Prism went down on the left side. And the Zealots in the 3rd just tearing up the entire mineral line. Bit too much for Clem to handle at once. Not something you hear too often, but when you are this far behind, your army demands attention. and yet you just don't have the actions to do it. The Zealots and the Stalkers find the tanks exposed on the flank. Nice spready on the Stalker to drag that away. And even if you click that Nexus, good luck getting these medevacs out of here, mate. Those Stalkers blinking forward. Good focus on the Stalkers, and then he picks up and rotates. That is a brilliant move. But the full medevac gets focused. Another medevac will get taken down in the near future. Zealots warping in, and even though you're killing a lot of these very valuable and fragile Stalkers, as Clem, you aren't really doing economic damage, which is what you need. Gotta say, though, amazing he gets as much damage as he does here. It just feels like one of these games where you're gouging, you know, damage here. You're scratching away, but your opponent just has so much flesh. You're going to need to get more than a pound of flesh. You're going to need 1,000 pounds of flesh. You need to get a lot. This is a 5 base Protoss player. He's finding damage, though. Damage starting to be found. One Zealot, one Widowmine going down only for that. Double Widowmine shot. Here we go. We've got the double drop on the left side in the third as well, but there's 3 Colossus. No way to handle that for Clem. He's got a Ghost Academy on the way behind this. More SCVs building. Only 2 Vikings out. He will take out the shield battery potentially. A lot of workers going down. He's getting jumped on the front. He's got to get out. These guys, there's no healing. He needs Vikings to deal with the Colossus. The Widowmine friendly fire is brutal. And MAXPAX senses that he is open now. Stalker's trying to warp in to deal with this drop, but as long as he chases Clem's army home, Clem has nothing at home, man. This is Clem's army. They're deep in the red. They're getting chased all the way home. Stalker's managed to warp in. That drop has been a nuisance. And MAXPAX will finally get rid of that in the next 30 seconds. But Clem is going to grab a probe, grab a second one, and then leave. Ah, no, he's not going to get out. He stayed too long. Right now, if you're wondering, what are we watching? We're watching a dead man fight with vigor and put up a very good fight. But keep in mind, he was on the ground with his pistol, taking a few last shots before he got overrun. That's going to take us to game 5. All right, guys, MAXPAX now on El Dorado, blocking Clem's expansion. Already harassed those SCVs a little bit. You can see the command center did get delayed a little bit there. Not massively in terms of the minerals, but the fact is, you know, you had an extra SCV off the line. And I think he maybe saw the Marine as well. Definitely confirms, though, that this is a more standard opening for Clem, not a double gas, as we are on game 5. Let's flip that scoreboard. I'm excited. These two played an action-packed best of 5. That was very close earlier today in the Warty Mondays Cup. And, you know, even though we've pushed back the start time of the American Cup to accommodate West Coast Americans, so it is an hour later. I don't know if after playing finals back-to-back, these two would have been down for the third cup anyway, even if we went back to the old ESL time. You never know. They both are grinders, MAXPAX and Clem. And they do play at just such an incredible rate, don't they? Just so consistent. That's going to be exciting to see. This sort of map is like Golden Wall, guys. You can open these minerals up to get these paths open. Big thank you, Alex, for the gifted sub. Appreciate that. Yeah, you can open up these paths, which is why I always think Phoenix Colossus is kind of good on these sorts of maps. But where do you expand as MAXPAX, guys? Do you just take a normal third up there, take a fourth in the corner, expand away? If you expand away, it's very hard for Terran to hit up here. If you maintain good map vision, you can always intercept, right? You're always in a good spot. However, once again, similar to what we talked about in Whispers of Gold, your main's wide open to drop. So there's that. Terran likes to expand forward, so I wouldn't be surprised if Clem takes his third here. Gets the gold single gas base. You don't really need the 6th gas always as Terran, depending on what style you play. Well, that's more of a TVZ thing, to be fair. Like, if you play Biomine versus Zerg, having no 6th gas doesn't matter. But if you got to play Vikings, which you kind of always have to versus Mr. MAXPAX, then that's that. There's a guy in my YouTube comments who's like, Pig, say verses correctly. And I'm like, I'm saying verse, like the you know, abbreviation. He's like, that's not the word. And his whole, like, every day he, like, comments this in my YouTube going, he's like, you're saying it wrong. And I'm like, it's fine. Verse. It's actually completely fine. I'm pretty sure it is a word on its own as well. Even if it's not, doesn't matter. Literally, there's, like, one guy like, not proper English. I'm like, I don't care, man. I see your comments. I hope you feel heard and listened to. I just don't care. Dark Shrine, guys. Dark Shrine. Have we got a Prism out already? Oh my god. Oh my god. It's going to be a Dark Templar drop. But he's going to be taking big damage. Probes! Probes! Oh my gosh, 3 probes and a Stalker go down. MAXPAX caught off guard right now, guys. There's an Adept in the base distracting Clem. But MAXPAX is taking big damage. Probes are not going to be able to deal with that. He has to drill. He has to drill through those Marines if he wants to get any damage. Oh my god, MAXPAX is getting slaughtered right now on the probes. Not like this. Not in game 5. Not in game 5. Then again, and there's a Raven. There's a Raven, but there's nothing to actually kill the Dark Templar. MAXPAX could technically bounce back from this. It's all about the Dark Templar now. That push is mostly held. Dude, if that Stalker dies, he's dead. Oh, the Stalker survives? Okay, maybe with the Stalkers and the probes, he can chase this drop down. But if they unload and kill that Stalker, which they're going to, of course they are. And, oh my gosh, one of the Dark Templar goes down. And MAXPAX GG's. Oh no, what a sad finish. Oh, what a sad finish here, guys, to game 5. I apologize for talking about random stuff there. I just, even seeing the Dark Shrine, I was like, I don't need to talk about this just yet. I'm an idiot. This is a very fast drop, guys. Just to show you the timing this hits at. That's so fast, and this counters a Dark Templar drop build. So if they hit your base with a 415 drop, which is what CLEM does, straight into the main as well at 414, already half unloaded, that's just one of the hardest things to stop, because with this build, you only build 2 gateway units. You skimp on gateway units. You do get up 3 gateways. So, you can warp in reactively, 3 Stalkers here, and then you can go for the Dark Templar, warp in on the other side after. That's kind of how this build times out. But he's hitting at 415. Now, you can only do that if you skip the Reaper, you build a Marine, and then you pause your production, and you go straight for it. So what could he have done? Well, he could have cancelled the Shade and recalled. Guess what? Does he have enough energy, guys? I don't think he does. He just got 51 energy in both Nexus? No. Natural 71, main is 50. Yeah, he actually should have cancelled the Shade and recall, but it kind of hits him as this Shade finishes, right? So he kind of needed to be able to recall both Adepts. If he could recall both Adepts, I think he could handle this, do a lot of damage of his own, since there is so few units at home for CLEM with the Dark Templar. And he might have been able to make a play of this, but this is just a brutal, brutal build. So let's show you guys what that build is. So it's Barracks. Notice he doesn't build anything after the first Marine. He just pauses production, gets the factory down. I thought he actually might cut the SCV there, delay half an SCV to get the factory even faster. So he gets the factory, then he goes the reactor, and as soon as that factory finishes, it's instant starport. If you go for like a Cyclone or something like that, you can't really afford to do this as quickly. And you can see even a big gap on the factory production, right? So it's all about getting the medevac started the second that starport finishes, and then immediately loading up and boosting across this kind of close air path on this map, which the opponent can't really see coming because of the map design. Really nice game 5 build for CLEM, and he does manage to get himself a victory in a close, hard-fought series against MAXPAX. GG, well played.